St. Augustine Part 2. Let's get into it. This is the last day of the weekend that we spent in St. Augustine, so 2 full days. If you want to see how we spent our first full day in St. Augustine, you can go back to our channel and watch the video that we uploaded on day 1 in St. Augustine last week. If you're planning a weekend in St. Augustine, hopefully these videos are helpful in helping you plan some things to do. There is so much to do in St. Augustine that even the locals never run out of things to do there. So this is just kind of a peek at some ideas. We hit a lot of the most popular things to do in St. Augustine on this trip, but there's so much more. For reference, we were there with our family of 4. So it was me, my husband, and our 2 kids who were 3 months and 14 months at the time of this trip. So if you are traveling with no kids or maybe older kids, you could probably squeeze in quite a bit more on your trip if you're wanting to. I felt like this pace was perfect for us. We pushed ourselves maybe a little bit, but just so you have an idea of reference on how much you can really squeeze in. I think everyone has different kind of thresholds too for how much they want to do on vacation. So it depends on how busy you want to be, how active you want to be, how much you want to push yourself. Obviously, we could all push ourselves to the point of absolute exhaustion, and if you want to do that, then you could fit in so much more. But I feel like this is a really good balance on seeing as much as possible without burning ourselves out. Our first stop was at the Sweetwater Coffee Bar, and what's cool about this location is that all of the art that you see on the walls is actually for sale. And it is an active art studio. So there was an artist there actively painting when we were there, and it was really cool to see her in action and then to see all of her work on the wall for sale too. She said that it's mostly her and her daughter that do all the paintings that are for sale in this coffee shop. The coffee was good too. You all know that I love when coffee shops have specialty lattes. Happy to report they had several to choose from. They were delicious. Mitchell also got a breakfast sandwich and it was humongous and we shared it. So the portion sizes for breakfast are wonderful as well. The coffee shop is located right across the street from Flagler College. If you're not familiar with Flagler College, it's one of the most beautiful colleges in America. It's absolutely stunning. And you can actually even take tours of the college. Now this upcoming summer, they are going to be suspended just briefly for renovations. So you'll want to make sure that they are up and running when you go, if you are going soon. I'm filming this in early 2024. So if it's much after this, then you should be good, but you might want to check. I'll put the link in the description of this video. But the tours are around $13 at least at the time of this filming, and you can see all sorts of things throughout the college. Flagler College is named after Henry Flagler, and if you have watched any of our prior videos on the Florida Keys, you might have heard us talk about him. We are really fascinated with Henry Flagler because he is responsible for building the overseas highway which connected the mainland of Florida through the Florida Keys. He was known for some other things too. He was a big businessman. He was very prominent, and the college is named after him because he actually built it in the late 1800s as a hotel, and it was at a very expensive, luxurious hotel. Famous people would stay there, and it's unique because at the time it was the first place that had running electricity like built into the building the way that it was, and so that's really interesting. And also you can tell the architecture, like the details are just so stunning, and a lot of thought and work was put into this. In part one of our videos on St. Augustine, I had mentioned that it was very cold when we were there. So I'm talking highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s, which I think maybe could have been bearable, but it was also really windy. So it was freezing for us Floridians, even with the hot coffee from the coffee shop. So we went next door to the Lightner Museum. The Lightner Museum is full of antiques, mostly from the American Gilded Age. And it is also a former hotel, Hotel Alcazar. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So the building itself, just like Flagler College, is fascinating and beautiful and stunning. The building, like I mentioned, is so unique and cool, and it's also on the National Register of Historic Places, which I think speaks to how amazing this building is. They don't put just any building on that list. So that's a fun fact about the museum as well. My favorite part of the building is that where the cafe is now actually used to be the swimming pool of the hotel. So that's really cool. Like the stairs leading down to the cafe were the stairs that literally led into the pool, and that is really cool. So not only are the artifacts throughout the museum fascinating, but like I said, the building itself, there's like, you can see the old spa that's in there from the hotel. The views from the hotel are really nice too. It's just a really cool way to spend the morning, especially if it's cold. And I know that most of the time it's not going to be too cold. Most of the time you're going to be wanting to escape the heat. So if you're wanting to escape the heat, this is a wonderful museum in St. Augustine to check out. After the museum, it was time for lunch, so we headed back to the historic St. George Street that we had visited in our last video. We ate at the Florida Cracker Cafe. It came highly recommended. Everything was very good at this restaurant. Okay, so after lunch is where we made a mistake. We wanted to go to the Fountain of Youth, which was only about a mile from where we parked in historic St. Augustine. It was about 1.5 miles to 1.8 miles from lunch though. So that's not too bad. It's definitely walkable, but if you have kids, you know that you only have a certain amount of time to have those kids in the stroller and have them be content in that stroller. We decided to walk because I don't even know why. I think it just seemed close, and I think we were kind of thinking or assuming that parking would be difficult. That is not the case. If you want to go to the Fountain of Youth, there is plenty of parking there. Also, if you take the hop on, hop off trolley, that's one of the most popular things to do in St. Augustine. That trolley will also drop you off and you can get off and get right back on. I think the trolley runs every 15 minutes or so. So those are much better ways of getting there than walking. Again, it's not the end of the world. You can definitely walk there, but because there's so much to do in St. Augustine, you're going to be getting plenty of steps in anyways. So it's okay, but I just think that our time could have been better spent at a different museum or something along those lines, especially because, like I said, there was plenty of parking there.
What's up? We're at the America's First Colony. There's supposedly a
This is the Fountain of Youth.
fountain of youth here, yeah.
So you're supposed to drink from it and stay young forever. So
Yeah.
I actually didn't know. I didn't do a ton of research before coming here. I didn't know that there was a full like colony thing here. I thought it was just like the fountain. So we are just getting started.
There's peacocks everywhere, like just non-stop peacocks since we've been in here. Seems pretty cool. My son's a year old, so by the time we leave, he's gonna be like 2-3 months old, I think, from the youth water. We're feeling pretty good about it. Where did the rumored youth?
Well, it started, the first thing was he had political enemies that made up like a smear campaign and said he was this crazy old man that was going around looking for mystical waters. Because when he landed here, he was probably 55, which was old Spaniard. And he had already been a governor in Puerto Rico. He'd already made his fortune there. But Columbus's son, Diego, after Columbus died, challenged him in the courts over in Puerto Rico and took that governorship away from him. So at that point, the king, who favored Ponce de Leon, said, why don't you just go out and keep, exploring, and you'll get another governorship and a kind of, everything.
Gotcha, right.
So that's what he was doing. Well, you could almost put one of those little cups right there. I know. Do you think you're going to have your fountain of youth water? What are you eating?
Wow.
He said, I want some.
You want some?
Hey.
I've actually heard, I'm not gonna lie, that the Fountain of Youth was a little overrated.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that all of this stuff was here too. I had no idea, and I think it's actually really cool and really worth a visit. We didn't expect it. It's allotted like, I don't know, half hour to be here, maybe. So we could easily spend a few hours here, I think. We're going on about an hour is how much we're spending here, but we definitely aren't getting a chance to listen to every presentation or like really get in depth with as much as I think we would like to. But
Yeah, there's a couple shows going on that if, given more time or maybe if we didn't have like two really little kids, a show where you came in and sat down would be, something good. Our son's probably not going to sit down for too long. He's 20 years old, but there's really cool stuff. There's, I think we mentioned there's peacocks everywhere, and then there's like old cannons that they pulled out of the water, and like just like old scouts from the Native Americans. It's a real.
I think it's almost underrated. Like
Yeah.
the fountain itself gets all the hype, but everything else here is so cool, especially if you love history. I think it's really cool, and everyone who works here is beyond nice.
Yeah.
Super helpful. I'm so glad we came here.
It's a little chilly today, so there's like not
It's
anybody here
freezing,
except for the
you
people
guys.
that are coming up right behind us. But other than that, it's pretty much empty here.
Yeah.
There's nobody. So
Yeah.
really cool though.
Definitely come.
As you can see behind me, here's all the cannons that they've kind of gotten out of the water over the years. Different ones that have been found and then buried and stuff. You can see like even the old concrete, and you can see all the, like it was made out of just like sand and shells and stuff. It's really, really cool. But there's tons to see here. And then right behind me right here, you'll see that they are, where am I at? There we are. They're gonna launch fire, the cannon. The guy said he's gonna launch some cannons today. He said, no, but we're gonna fire them. So seems like a good sense of humor kind of guy, but we're excited. Kids are way back there so that they don't obviously get their eardrums blown out by a cannon fire. But we should get a show here in about 5 minutes. And but yeah, there's really a lot of cool stuff here. And then behind me is all this big open area. Looks like they're building stuff here, and then the Fountain of Youth's over here somewhere, but really cool on the water. And then there's the lookout tower too, so really, really cool. About the Fountain of Youth area and everything, there's a cannon show where they actually light off cannons. So this is usually a lookout tower, but they close it down right before the cannons launch. You can see here on the sign it says blocked off 10 minutes before a cannon show. So I think I'm going to be able to get some footage of it so you guys will see it. But it's really cool. They launch it over the water here, so it's like hopefully no kayakers or anything. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys get to see it.
What we're going to do down here is a couple weapons demonstrations. The one thing these two weapons have in common with each other is this. They're both considered to be obsolete by the mid-60s.
On your way to the Fountain of Youth, you will cross Magnolia Avenue. It's one of the most photographed streets in America, and it is easy to see why. It is stunning. It's known for these oak trees that kind of lean over the road. It reminds me so much of the South, like Charleston. It's stunning. Whether you walk or whether you drive, you will see this, and it is beautiful. After the Fountain of Youth, we decided to check out the old jail. I was so excited about this because, like I mentioned in our last video, I am working on a haunted places in St. Augustine video for October, which again, if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you subscribe because that's a long ways away, so it might be tough to remember. But the old jail is said to be haunted, basically because the prisoners were treated absolutely horribly and a lot of them died in the jail. However, we were unable to get tickets. Well, we weren't unable to, but they did let us know it was not very stroller friendly, so we decided not to get tickets to the old jail, which was disappointing. But again, there's so much to do in St. Augustine that it's not like we didn't have anything to do to replace that time with. But it is kind of weird that they weren't thinking about strollers when they built the jail in the 1890s, right? Like, who would have thought? Our very last stop on the way home was Osprey Tacos. So I have mentioned before that St. Augustine can really be a foodie's paradise. There are so many places to eat, ranging from kind of a cheaper type of restaurant to fine dining. There's literally everything if you are looking for great food in St. Augustine. And so I did a ton of research on all the best restaurants, all the places I wanted to go. I spent hours compiling this list. Nowhere on this list was Osprey Tacos, and I'm telling you, it should be on your list. We ate there because it was late at night, we were exhausted, we were hungry, it was bedtime, and we wanted food to go that was easy. Osprey Tacos is located just across the Bridge of Lions, which is where we were staying, so it was convenient for us. But they have really unique tacos, like they had a Cuban taco. They have all sorts of cool different tacos. So we just got a smorgasbord of tacos, and I can't recommend it enough. It's also right next door to a brewery, which we really wanted to check out, but just didn't have time to do. Again, there's so much to do in St. Augustine. So I think it is worth crossing the bridge for if you have time. Their tacos were phenomenal. And that's it. That was our trip to St. Augustine. Hopefully you found it helpful if you are planning your trip. Like I said, we only touched the tip of the iceberg because there's so much to do. If we missed one of your favorite things to do in St. Augustine, let us know in the comments so that we can add that to our list next time we go, and it'll help out other people who are watching this video as well. If you did find it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, and we are going somewhere pretty exciting in our next video next week. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss it. I'm really excited for our next video.
Hey buddy, do you need more Cheerios? Where are they?
And its building also used to be a really prominent hotel called Hotel Alcazar. Hotel Alcazar.
That's not even funny to joke about. It's so stressful to even think about a kid being in here not strapped down.